So after my podcast discussion with Justin from Stay Fresh Productions, the topic at hand was just how important a fragrance's performance is. And I had a lot of you reach out to me afterwards asking to compile a list of some of the fragrances that are just flat out room fillers that just scream off of my skin and are unapologetically loud. So in this video, got 10 of those for you. Stay tuned. Starting with the fragrance in that video that I mentioned was a just obnoxious room filler, and I had to be very strategic when I wear it, and that is Amouage Enclave, one of the newest releases from Amouage from last year. This stuff is incredible. It's just so loud. It's a good and bad thing. If you're looking for long lasting and super loud projecting, you get your money's worth with Enclave for sure. This is one that can overwhelm my wife. Like I said in that video, I have to really plan for when I'm going to wear this one. We have to be in an, big open area or outdoors for a while, because if we're going to be traveling for a while in the car, 2 sprays is just overwhelming. And look, long trail, super loud. But the beauty of this one is it smells incredible. It smells expensive. It smells of luxury. It has a beautiful spearmint oil up top, mixed with the cardamom that has this beautiful sweet spicy accord going for it up top. Very authentic spearmint smell, more of a mint leaf type of smell. Just gorgeous. Gets woody, transitions, changes a lot, and like I said, absolute room filler. No apologies with this fragrance. You want people to know you're here when you're wearing Amouage Enclave. For as loud as the original Invictus is off of my skin, the loudest one in the line, for me anyways, is definitely Invictus Legend. This is a tester bottle. That's what it says the name on the front. This is another one that, for being an aquatic fragrance, it's absurdly loud off of my skin to wear in the summer. I prefer to wear this one in the spring and more so in the fall. It's very warm amber, super salty and aquatic up top with a nice herbaceous bay leaf. I love the way this one smells, and I find it to be quite unique in its own line. It does have a touch of that Invictus DNA without smelling just like Invictus. It's definitely the most powerful and most potent on my skin. It's the one I've got the biggest dent in the bottle in too, because I tend to spray it more than I need to, for sure. This was one that I'll spray 7 or 8 times when I really only need like 3 or 4 sprays, because it is super loud off of my skin. One, luckily and surprisingly, I don't go anosmic to. I actually do spray my chest with this one, as I do with a little bit weaker fragrances than this. But this is one of those few room fillers that I'll actually spray on my chest, and just for hours and hours, it's just hitting me non-stop. It's one I got to be in the mood for, because I know I'm going to do that. But I don't know how many of you have this and have similar performance, but man, for me, if I want to fill a room and I want to smell a little different from everyone else, I can always go with Invictus Legend, give it 7 or 8 sprays, and I'll definitely get noticed. Now, the House of Kajal Perfumes has a ton of beast mode fragrances, but this isn't just about beast mode. It's not just about loud and long lasting. It's about super loud, which SAWLAJ absolutely is. You do not need many sprays of this fragrance. This is one of the strongest fragrances in my collection. 3 to 4 sprays, more than enough to fill a room. Super masculine too. It's a leather-based fragrance with a gorgeous smooth leather too. It's not rough and animalic, with this carnation note, kind of a ode to the old school, if you will, because carnation is not heavily used these days. It was used a lot more in the powerhouse fragrances of the late 70s and 80s type of realm. This doesn't smell dated like any of those, but it's definitely super masculine, strong leather. I could see anybody pulling this one off. You just got to really be into leather and a little spicy type of fragrance. It's not overly spicy, but a strong leather fragrance. This is leather through and through, and so loud, my lord. And it doesn't smell like every other leather fragrance. That's the best part. It is beautifully unique without being challenging. So it's easier to pull off as long as you don't like it pronouncing and letting everybody know, hey, Ross is here, because that's what this fragrance is going to do. When you walk in a room with this on, people are going to smell you. It definitely fills a room, and you're getting your money's worth for this one as well, because this one's not cheap. That's Kajal Perfumes. This is SAWLAJ. So with this house, there's the case for all of this variety of beast mode fragrances. And I have, I think, currently 9 or 10 fragrances from the house, but none quite come off of my skin the way that Intense Cafe does from MONTALE. Now, I know some people will say Ristretto Intense Cafe because the coffee is more pronounced than the rose, but I actually really enjoy this one. I went through a 10 ml decant of this back when I reviewed it in late 2019, and I recently, not super recently, but got my hands on a bottle. I love the coffee note in here, and it's one of my favorite rose fragrances because this is a rose fragrance through and through. The coffee fades long before the rose. The rose hangs out from start to finish. It's extremely unisex. Obviously, it's rose and coffee, but it's one that you got to be prepared to wear. I don't know if everybody else gets this type of reaction on their skin like I do. I'm sure a lot of you do, but it's a straight up monstrosity on my skin as far as projection. This stuff is loud. Anything more than 5 sprays is me just trying to be obnoxious with this fragrance. And when I say obnoxious, it's making sure people notice you kind of thing. It's super loud off of my skin. And Honey Oud is very loud off of my skin as well. Wood and spices, tropical wood. Like I said, I have several of them, and they all I would put in the beast mode category, hands down. But this one kind of stands tall above all the rest that I have. And it's one of my favorite coffee fragrances that's more so a rose fragrance, really. And it's polarizing. If you're not a fan of rose, you won't like this. It's one you should sample. I wouldn't blind buy this one. Definitely try before you buy. But if you're looking for a beast, and I mean a beast, check out Intense Cafe from MONTALE. So in the past, I've talked about how powerful this one is off of my skin, and I've had people tell me that their newer bottle doesn't perform that way. And this bottle's a few years old, don't get me wrong. It may have suffered reformulation. I cannot deny nor confirm that. But 1821 Man-Made Sweet Tobacco Spirits is a honey and red wine bomb. And I mean, performance, it is absolutely no slouch. Oh, but it smells so good. Like I said, I've had people in the past when I've talked about this one tell me that they don't get that type of performance. And I've had people that tell me they do, that I know have had a bottle about as long as I have. So it may have gone through reformulation. Like I said, I can't confirm nor deny. And I don't know how easy it is to sample this one. They make a lot of men's products. They have, you know, holiday gift sets you can get where they have the shampoos and conditioners, and they have the pomades for men's hair, and they got beard products, and they got a full line of men's products. But it's understated how damn good this parfum is. And it's a parfum extrait. It is a high oil concentration, and it wears heavy. It's heavy and sticky because it's a honey bomb. And it's just so loud. It's one of those that I don't do more than 5 sprays because I got a giant scent bubble around me when I wear this one. It's very strategic. All the ones in this video are very strategic when I wear them because I got to be in the mood to just have my fragrance putting me out there to where it is just loud. There's no denying. Beyond 6 feet, you are smelling me very easy. A well-circulated room, it's putting it all in the air. So this is definitely one of those fragrances for me. It smells incredible. It smells pretty unique for what it is, to be honest with you. It's 1821 Man-Made Sweet Tobacco Spirits. Underrated. You want someone to smell you coming? You like pungent oud and tobacco, a little smokiness, nice sweetness. Strong. Super strong, especially in the opening. And I'm talking about MANCERA Red Tobacco. This is, I mean, beast isn't a good enough word for this. It's absurd. It really is. And please excuse the rippling on the sticker on my bottle. When I moved and came up from below sea level to 6,000 feet above sea level, got a little air in some of my bottles, and this one leaked months ago when I moved here. So, and I didn't discover it. It was sitting like this leaking, but it doesn't leak anymore. But the alcohol in it did kind of mess up the label a little bit. So that's why it looks like that. But man, Red Tobacco, it's absurd. This stuff is next level powerful. It's always been one of the strongest fragrances in my collection, and I'm sure it always will be because it's going to take me possibly forever to go through this 4-ounce bottle because I have so many. It takes me so long to wear a lot of these and go through them. But it's one that when I'm in the mood, man, compliment factory all day and then some. You could spray it on at 4 in the morning, wake up super bright and early for something, and go to bed at 2 o'clock. That, you know, take a shower at 2 in the morning the next day. It's still going to be there. It's that long lasting, and like I said, powerful and beast are just not good enough to describe the way this thing projects. Room filling's an understatement. The more you spray, the louder it's going to be. I mean, you can get away with 3 to 4 sprays and people will smell you, no problem. You start going 5+ and then some on into the 7, 8, 9, 10 spray category, you're overwhelming yourself, and it's a chance, depending on the size of room you're in, you're going to overwhelm others. But it's definitely a great smell, so that works in your favor. But if you're looking to fill a room and you want to make a statement, not too many do it better than red tobacco, and it's one that you can get for a decent price from discounters, Vinba Fragrances, places like that, link below. You can always get it in that sub $100 range. I don't know what they're going for right now, 70, 80-ish dollars, somewhere around there. And I'll tell you what, it definitely outperforms its price point from discounters. You're looking to fill a room, red tobacco has you covered. So this is one that if you're easy on the sprays, it's just going to be loud. If you go a little heavier on the sprays, you can definitely fill a room with Davidoff Cool Water Intense. That has been my experience with this. It doesn't list ambroxan, but you sure smell ambroxan, and it's a lot of it. Beautiful bubblegummy type of smell, and I mean loud, super duper loud fragrance that you can get in the 30-some-odd dollar range from discounters. It doesn't smell nothing like the original Cool Water. So if you've never tried this one before and you're not a fan of Cool Water, don't worry about it, because it smells nothing like it. It is a much more modern, bubblegummy, blue fragrance type of ambroxan shower jelly fragrance. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll love this. And this one is, like I said, if you go a little heavier than 5 sprays, because 5 sprays, people are still going to smell you. It's a beast at 5 sprays. But you start piling it on and, you know, start spraying a bit heavier, maybe double spraying around the neck, 6 sprays around the neck, and then maybe the shoulders and stuff like that. You start doing all those things, I can almost guarantee you're going to fill a room. It depends on your skin chemistry, obviously, but in my experience, you go a little heavier on the sprays than you would with most strong fragrances, you're going to fill the room with this one. If you're easy on it, you'll just be very noticeable. So this is one that you, depending on how much you want to spray, barring skin chemistry, obviously, but depending on how much you want to spray is going to depend on how pronounced it's going to be and how close to filling a room it will get. But like I said, you spray it a little heavier, you're filling a room for under $40. You're smelling great. Davidoff Cool Water Intense. This next fragrance is essentially a niche version of Tom Ford's Black Orchid. Let that sink in for a second. Okay, because it's got that beautiful sweet truffle type of smell. Gorgeous orchid flower dominates this one. It's from AMOUROUD. It's called Dark Orchid. Man, look. 2 sprays. Loud on 2 sprays. This one's like SAWLAJ as far as how easy it fills a room off of my skin. 4 sprays, everybody's smelling you. That's just been my experience. It's so powerful. My wife doesn't care for it because she doesn't get a chance to enjoy it because it's overwhelming. It can be. If you don't like a sweet, gourmandy, floral type of fragrance, it might be a little obnoxious for you. But if you like Black Orchid from Tom Ford and just want to dial up the performance and the quality, you should definitely check out AMOUROUD Dark Orchid. Get a sample because it's not cheap, but you're getting your money's worth here. Yes, you're going to pay for it. It's a luxury niche fragrance. You're going to pay a bit more, but you're going to get a bit more. Like I said, it is absurd how powerful this fragrance is. That's why it's in this video and fits this topic. Could not do this video. This is one of the first fragrances that came to mind when I was gathering them to do this video. I love florals. Orchid is a very unique smell in perfumery. I don't have a lot of fragrances that feature it, but the 3 or 4 that I do are great. This being one of them. Very classy smell, very special event type of appeal because it smells so luxurious, high class. It's a little bit daring at the same time without being too out there. So definitely one that I advise you check out. If any of that sounds appealing to you, you want to fill a room, AMOUROUD Dark Orchid, definitely the fragrance for you. So this is one that when I wear it, I always spray 4 sprays. The reason, sometimes 4.5, because you can really control the atomizer, because it's a Dior fragrance. Dior Homme Parfum. So the reason I always spray 4 to 4.5 sprays, because I usually do 1.5, 1 or 1.5 on my chest, then my usual 3 around the neck. I'm very well pronounced at that. I know I know this fragrance well enough to where I know exactly what it's going to do on my skin. It's very consistent when I wear it. So in the event that I really want to show out and I really want to fill a room with this one, 7 sprays. 7 spray, and that's, look, I don't go anosmic to it on my chest. This is one of those leather and iris fragrances I can just smell all day, and it's just going to hover around me, and I don't really get any olfactory fatigue from it. So for being as powerful as it is, it's one I can spray on my chest and really enjoy, kind of like how INVICTUS Legend is. So if I want, like I said, if I really want to show out, 7 sprays is going to do it. 4 to 4.5 is my usual. That's when I'm going to wear it to work kind of thing. But oh man, if you can get your hands on this, you want to smell different, because not everybody's wearing an iris and leather fragrance. Man, it's so good. I know it's hard to get in the States these days, especially with travel restrictions the way they are. If you live overseas, it's a bit easier for you guys to get the new 100 ml bottles. But if you can get your hands on this one, you like iris, it's one of the best iris fragrances ever made in my opinion. And it's also one of the most powerful iris fragrances ever made. Slightly animalic leather, little touch of oud and rose that's not overbearing, so don't think it's oud rose fragrance. There's just a touch of it there. Some creamy sandalwood that changes it in the dry down. Nice powdery Florentine iris. This is just, man, such a good fragrance. It had to be in here. It's another one that, depending on the sprays, is going to depend on the projection, really. So you can tone it down or you can crank it up with Dior Homme Parfum. Now this is one that I actually haven't wore in quite a while, and shame on me because it's such a gorgeous fragrance. It's one that kind of got lost in the shuffle for this past winter. It's a nice caramel sweet type of tobacco and resinous fragrance that for some reason people compare to red tobacco, and I don't get it. It doesn't smell like red tobacco to me, but it's a gorgeous powerhouse in its own right. It's Parfums de Marly, Carlisle. Beautiful black bottle. This stuff is magnificent. I guess you could kind of say I saved the best for last, because if I had to just pick one across the board, I think this might be the best one in the video, because it's another one you can dial up the performance. If you go easy, 3 to 4 sprays, you'll have a real nice trail, but you won't really overwhelm anybody. If they get within a few feet of you, they'll smell you. It's a beast, don't get me wrong. Even just 1 spray, people will smell you. 3 to 4 sprays, you won't be overpowering. Another one, you start getting in that 7 spray territory, that scent bubble's growing, it's getting big, and you're gonna smell great. Another one that is a compliment machine, and if you really wanna show out, you really wanna make a statement, this is that type of fragrance. One that's got the quality, has the performance, has the right scent profile to intrigue and be a conversation starter, and it's one that dresses up really well, but is not so serious that you can't dress it down. I wouldn't say it's the best fragrance to wear with a t-shirt. You can, but I would think at least a polo shirt on up, it's going to be a conversation starter, because it doesn't smell like every other tobacco fragrance out there. It doesn't smell like every other sweet fragrance out there. It smells like Carlisle to me. Yes, it has some similarities to other fragrances. I've heard the comparison that this is kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of PDM fragrances put together. A little bit of Herod with a little bit of this, that, and the other. And I could see where that kind of makes sense. It's a decent little myth. I doubt that's actually the case, but it's one that, for lack of a better term, is a stunner. It's stunning. If you haven't smelled this one yet, get a sample. you'll understand where I'm coming from with saying that it's stunning. It's strong enough without being too strong, because the reason I say that is, like I said, you can dial up the performance. If you go easy on the sprays, it won't be overbearing. You start spraying a bit heavier, you will fill a room with this one, at least in my experience. I guess I saved the best for last. Parfums de Marly, Carlisle. Well, that's my picks, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What just screams off of your skin in your collection? Let me know down in the comments. You know, this is the main ones that, when I spray them, I mean, the size of this room, I want to say it's 10 by 14 or something like that. I'll fill this room all day long with just a few sprays on any of these. Larger rooms, a little bit heavier on the sprays, fill in that room too. There's other fragrances. I have a bunch of fragrances that I would consider beast mode, that are loud, you know, 6 foot away, you're going to smell me, it's going to last 10, 12, 14 hours, whatever. But these, it's not just about long lasting, it's about overwhelming power of the scent coming off of my skin. These 10 definitely do that for me. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these fragrances and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.